It's the fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock. The game is on the line. What does every winning coach do? He looks at the sheet, the playbook. Nothing on that field happens by accident. Every block, every route, every fake, it's all scripted. It's designed to manipulate the defense, create a gap, and secure the win. But what if I told you the most sophisticated playbook on earth isn't in the NFL? It's in Central Intelligence. And worse, our church is using that playbook. It's in the church office, and the win they're looking for isn't a touchdown. It's your silence. Today, we are opening the file on the Holy Trap. We're going to show you how the institutional church has borrowed a dark secret straight from the Central Intelligence Handbook to cover up abuse, silence victims, and protect the brand at all costs. In the world of espionage, whether it's the KGB, the Stasi, or the CIA, there's a classic operation known as the honey trap.
Jeffrey Epstein was running, quote, the world's largest honey trap operation on behalf of the KGB.
It's simple, it's effective, and it's deadly. The goal is Kompromat, compromising material. The playbook works like this. Target selection. Find someone vulnerable or influential.
To groom these young guys and girls starting at very young ages.
The lure. Send in an agent. Someone who offers exactly what that target needs. Love, validation, excitement.
They get them out on retreats. They get them up skiing. They get them out four-wheeling. They get them into cabins.
The trap. Get them in a room. Get them to cross a line.
And they get them into these cabins, 5, 7 young guys, and they do things, trousing him or masturbating or taking pictures in the showers, and they actually record a lot of what these guys do.
And the leverage. Once the deed is done, the trap snaps shut. We have the photos. We have the tapes. Do what we say, or we destroy your life.
And this is what happens. And I can tell you, these guys, and it's sick. I feel like I'm dealing with the mafia, and I'm dealing with pastors who have stuff on each other and keep quiet about sexual abuse because they have stuff on each other to silence each other.
Preparing to use it against you if you ever come out. They literally have the evidence to use against you in things that you did, believing that it was just fun and you could share confidential things of exmarital or whatever in your past.
What's more concerning is Reverend Kirk Sethman is sharing what is happening with ministry interns and high school-age boys who are looking to become future pastors and ministry leaders. They start gathering dirt at a very young age, but what you will see is this playbook doesn't end there. It is used against spouses to keep silent so their misdeeds not become public. Families whose children were abused to silence them, and even used against young victims as their abuse might be embarrassing for them or that they may be outed as gay. This is sextortion of minors before it became a household term.
Bryce was going through a complicated ordeal called sextortion.
Sextortion is a form of online exploitation where investigators say offenders manipulate victims into sending intimate or sensitive pictures, then threaten to release those photos.
Once they strike up the conversations and they entice the male to send them pictures, that's when they inform them that they're going to start extorting them for money or even more pictures to be sent. And if they don't comply, then they will release those to the public. And mainly they'll go onto their social media accounts and gather their friends list, and that's who they tell them they're going to release to. So once you feel like the world's going to know what's going to happen and you feel like you have no other way to turn to, unfortunately a lot of kids in this country take their own lives.
It's about control. It's about ensuring that the secrets never leave the room.
People need the church more than ever right now. You can feel it. And the Cardinal, he might not be perfect. But we can't throw out all the good he's doing over a few bad apples. Now, I'm bringing this up to you because I know this is Barron's idea, his agenda. I gotta tell you, honest to God, he doesn't care about the city the way we do. How could he?
This is how it happens, isn't it, Pete?
What's that?
Guy leans on a guy, and suddenly the whole town just looks the other way.
There is, it's like a good old boys club, and the best way I can explain it is it's mafia. All of these, not all of these, many of the people in leadership now and in the past have all been witness to each other's indiscretions, whether it be money, whether it be affairs, whether it be, going to Guatemala and hearing about their mission trips and how drunk everybody got. Sure. There's a very close circle. There's very much of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There's a mask that they put on to retain the lifestyle that they have, to retain the power and control, and they are manipulative enough to be able to keep people under their spell for a very, very long time.
Back in November, Gateway got rid of 4 elders. And the reason they got rid of them is they said all of these elders, 2 of them who had served right alongside Brady Boyd at the same time, they either knew without a doubt this had happened, or they knew enough to ask questions and didn't. Brady, that is your responsibility. That's your responsibility as a protector of the flock. When you know that there's an issue, you ask more questions. You meet with Karen Black. You get to the bottom of it, and then you do the right thing. My guess is, at that point, he was in so deep because he did know in 2007, and Robert knew that he knew, and he did know earlier that year, in 2005, and then earlier in 2007, and then again, he was in so deep.
2011, the elders are made aware that this story might be broken publicly, and 13 years passes, and then they get rid of Robert Morris.
Oh, it's such a farce.
I mean, there's gotta be like at least 100 people that at some point have covered this up. Now look at the modern church scandal. The parallels are terrifying. The enemy isn't using a Soviet spy, he's using a wolf in a shepherd's costume. In the intelligence world, the bait is attraction. In the church, the bait is trust. The predator doesn't come as a threat. He comes as the anointed one.
We think we have 13 priests in Boston that fit this pattern, which would be a very, very big story. Does that sound right to you in terms of scale?
No, not really, Robbie. Sounds low to me. My estimates suggest 6% act out sexually with minors.
6% of what?
6% of all priests.
And you don't question it, right?
And you don't question it because you've been indoctrinated in the system.
You're under the umbrella of God's protection.
You don't touch God's anointed.
Correct.
Yeah.
In actually 1 Timothy 5:20, I'll just throw that out there. That is the passage if you want to go to it. It says, elders who are sinning should be publicly exposed so that others may stand in fear.
Come on.
So this is biblical stuff.
It is.
But we have been taught as a church that it's gossiping, that it's wrong. No, don't touch the Lord's anointed like they're an Old Testament prophet or something. I mean, it's just sick.
The youth pastor who really gets kids, the bishop who is so holy. They groom the target and the community to believe they were beyond reproach. They isolate the victim not in a hotel room, but in a spiritual blind spot.
I was 11, and I was preyed upon by Father David Hawley in Worcester. And I don't mean prayed for, I mean preyed upon. When you're a poor kid from a poor family, religion counts for a lot. And when a priest pays attention to you, it's a big deal.
And I mean, I was affirmed by one of the pastors when I came out.
Okay.
But then told there was no place for me there.
So you were affirmed, but there's no place for you. So it almost sounds like they're okay with it being a secret. They're just not okay with it being public.
100%.
It's not about if you have sin in your life. That's what they want. They want that sin to control you. But they don't want that sin to be public, as to bring down the good old boys. In fact, it doesn't even matter if your sin is being practiced by others, so long as it stays quiet.
Did you at any point have any suspicion that any of the current New Life leadership may also be gay as well?
100%. Because I know for a fact.
He asks you to collect the hymnals or take out the trash, you feel special. It's like God asking for help. And so maybe it's a little weird when he tells you a dirty joke, but now you got a secret together. So you go along. Then he shows you a porno mag. And you go along. And you go along, And you go along until one day he asks you to jerk him off or give him a blowjob. And so you go along with that too, because you feel trapped, because he has groomed you.
And this is where it gets dark. In a honey trap, the spy uses photos to blackmail you. In the church cover-up, they use spiritual blackmail.
Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective.
This is one of the scriptures that they actually will use. And according to the word, it is true. We need to get with our brothers and confess that we may be healed. But the very next part of that right there, for the prayer of the righteous availeth much. The problem with this is these aren't righteous individuals. How do you notice? You will only know it by standing back. You can't look into their heart. Just by their fruit, you will know them.
They tell you it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to confess that extramarital affair, that abuse of your child, that abuse of somebody else's child. And it all stays secret unless you turn against someone else in the mafia.
And so I could just walk into that courthouse right now and get those documents?
No, you cannot, because the documents are not there.
But you just said they're public.
I know I did, but this is Boston, and the church does not want them to be found, so they are not there.
Mitch, are you telling me that the Catholic Church removed legal documents from that courthouse?
Look, I'm not crazy. I'm not paranoid. I'm experienced. Check the docket. You'll see. They control everything.
Absolutely shocking how many people knew.
We have to ask the question, like, what was the incentive for so many people to keep quiet? What did Robert Morris have on all of these other people that they were afraid to speak out? What did Robert Morris have on Brady Boyd that Brady Boyd made him an overseer of a church after he probably knew about this incident? I mean, for all of these people to stay quiet for 40 plus years, knowing that there had to be at least 50 people that at some point knew about this incident that kept quiet, why are people staying quiet? Is there an exchange of money? Is there an exchange of leadership? Is it a, I won't tell your secret if you don't tell mine? I mean,
3 words: evangelical industrial complex. This evangelical industrial complex, which is this whole interconnected web of ministries and mega churches, publishers, conferences, all of these things, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. This is huge, huge amount of money. And when you look at Gateway and you look at how much money Robert Morris had, I mean, millions and millions of dollars. We published a piece about all of his, multi-million-dollar homes that he had. Where do you think he got those homes, friends? I mean, this is a very, very lucrative business.
When abuse happens, the institution flips the script. They don't say, we caught you on tape. They say, touch not God's anointed. They say, if you speak out, you are hurting the gospel. They use your own faith against you. They weaponize shame. The Kompromat isn't what you did. It's the threat you will be, the one destroying the church if you talk.
John MacArthur's church, Grace Community Church in California, David Gray, who had been an employee there, had abused his kids, and he's now serving time for sexually molesting his kids. But it first came to the church, I think in 2001, his wife came to the church and told them that at that point, she didn't know about the sex abuse, but she knew that he had tried to suffocate one of her children. And there was other physical abuse, emotional abuse going on, and she got a protective order, and the church tried to compel her to drop that protective order. But then in counseling, this guy, Kerry Hardy, who now he's senior pastor of a church, I think, in the Carolinas, he told her in counseling that she should be an example of Jesus and suffer the abuse as Jesus suffered abuse. Wow. Be a model to her children on how to be abused.
In the spy world, when an asset gets blown, you have the cleaner. You wipe the records. You move the agent to a new territory. Does that sound familiar? How many times have we seen a predator quietly move from one parish to another, from one church to another, from one diocese to the next? The playbook says protect the institution over the individual.
Look, 1983. John Gagan, St. Brendan's Parish, Dorchester. So we can find out where any priest is at any given year?
Yeah, I got him here at... Huh.
What?
1980, the year Gagan was pulled from JP. It says he's on sick leave.
Come on, really says that?
Where is 1991?
Yeah, here you go.
See this. Barrett, Liam. I can't read that. Look for Lee and Barrett in there. 1991's the year they pulled him out of Charlestown, B.
Barrett, Liam,
Yeah.
sick leave. It's an official designation.
And then on top of that, after they hired Brady Boyd, these 9 people, and probably more, still said absolutely nothing when they put Robert Morris as an overseer of New Life Church. Just like an intelligence agency protects its network of spies, the corrupt religious institution protects its hierarchy.
Our family is rooted in the church. Our desire is to protect the holy orders. Even in the midst of our agony over the 7 boys in our family who have been violated. 7, Robbie. 7 boys. It was suggested we keep silent. We did not question the authority of the church 2 years ago, but since Father Gagan is still in his parish, but she sent it to law, and law did shit. Here's another one to law, same year. Listen to this. A word on the recent assignment to Father Gagan as an associate at St. Julia's in Weston. Father Gagan has a history of homosexual involvement with young boys. I understand his recent departure from St. Brendan's may be related to this problem. I wonder if Father Gagan should not be reduced to just weekend work while receiving some kind of therapy. You know how grateful I am to you for your constant concern. Sincerely yours in our Lord, Most Reverend John M. Darcy, Auxiliary Bishop of Boston, December 7th, 1984.
An auxiliary bishop wrote that?
They bring in the lawyers, not to find the truth, but to draft the NDA. An NDA is just a legal version of a hush money payment. It's the final play in the game to ensure the scandal dies in darkness.
There's not much I can say
Okay.
to that, again, because NDA.
Correct. Yeah.
And gosh, I wonder how many NDAs they have, how many attorney's fees they paid to drop NDAs.
Look, I told you guys these are tough cases. Most of these folks, they just want some acknowledgement of what happened. We got them a sit down with the bishop and a little dough, and that's the best they could hope for.
Here's the hard truth for us at Spiritual Insurgency. This playbook, it's not of God. It is the definition of a whitewashed tomb. Jesus didn't have a cover-up team. He didn't have a PR firm spinning the narrative when Judas betrayed him. He brought everything into the light. Ephesians 5:11 commands us, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. When a church operates like a CIA black site, prioritizing secrecy, using manipulation to silence witnesses, and moving assets around to avoid detection, they have ceased to be the body of Christ. They have become an intelligence operation for the enemy.
They knew, and they let it happen. 2 kids. Okay? It could have been you. It could have been me. It could have been any of us. We gotta nail these scumbags. We gotta show people that nobody can get away with this. Not a priest or a cardinal or a freaking pope.
We need to burn their playbook. If you are seeing these tactics in your organization, secrecy, spiritual gaslighting, protection of the powerful over the vulnerable, you are looking at a honey trap. Don't take the bait. We are called to be watchmen, and sometimes the enemy isn't at the gates. He's in the pulpit, running a play he learned from the world, hoping you won't notice the difference. Stay vigilant, stay bold, put on the full armor.